Hey guys, and happy spooky season. Welcome to the first episode of my zine project, Magical Shit, and it's also my Inktober 2020 project. But as stated in the previous video, I have decided to start early and finish late because I want to document this whole process. Okay, so in this first video, I just kind of want to talk about what my project is about and how I came up with the idea and a little bit of my process. So after Inktober of last year, I was really disappointed with the result of it and, just how much time I didn't have to actually put into the project. And I was really excited about that one because I made an enamel pin and made it this whole big thing, and then it just didn't work out. So I've been thinking about this year's project since the end of last Inktober. So originally the idea sprung from a Wicked poster that I wanted to design to go along with Wicked Inktober last year. And it was basically a bunch of magical ingredients, like stuff that witches would use in their potions and spells and things like that. And this other kind of idea kind of evolved from that. And it was basically just kind of like, it could probably be considered a little bit of a spell book, but in my mind, it's kind of like a magical shit for dummies kind of situation. And I got really excited about it. I've been sketching and coming up with ideas and pinning pins on my Pinterest board and just really being very excited about this project. So another thing I wanted to talk about is my inking process. And you can see me actually sketching this one and a couple of the other ingredient magical shit items in a live stream from last year. I'll leave it linked in the card so you can check that out if you want to actually see me sketch it. I obviously evolved the idea from the original sketch because I didn't like the jar that the frog's breath was in. And from there, I took my sketch and I put it in Procreate, and then I redid the line work. Then I printed it out and then used a light box to transfer onto my watercolor paper. And speaking of that, all of the supplies that I'm using are going to be linked in the video description below, so you guys can check that out if you want to. And then, from here on out, I basically just kind of approached this the way I would with watercolor, except, it was actually a little bit more interesting and fun to work with because I didn't have to really worry about reactivating the layer that was underneath the one that I was working on and reactivating that and making mud. So I actually really think I like the colored inks better than I like watercolor right now, which I think is really, really interesting. I also am trying the colored inks for the first time and actually trying to make it a realistic looking kind of illustration style project. And I'm really happy with the first piece and how the first piece came out. I was really scared and nervous, and I had put a lot of pressure on myself, and I just put on an audiobook and decided to just sit down and paint because it's just, it's a daily drawing challenge and there's no reason to get that upset about it. Even though I am making it a zine and I want it to be good, if I took the pressure off myself, it would just come out a lot better. So like after I sat down and actually did it and started working on it, and I got more excited. So the anxiety is gone and I'm just really excited to continue. I do really plan to really experiment with inks this year and try to create some texture and do a lot of things that I wouldn't normally do. I brought down some cotton balls and some Q-tips and different things to play with the ink, and I'm also using the dip pens this year instead of the Faber-Castell Pitt pens. I'm not saying I won't use them, but I'm really focusing on the dip pens to kind of create my line work because I just like the way that it kind of feels like a sketch versus a really nice crisp line, and I really like that perfectly unperfect look when it comes to ink. And I really struggled between the colored and the black and white this year. But I ended up going with the colored inks just because the subject matter is so varied in this project. And after it's done, and in January, I am going to do Inktober 52 and just use straight black ink and really experiment with that and just improve my values and my contrast and things like that. Another thing I decided just to make my life a little easier was to keep the storytelling within the zine. So if you bought a zine at the end of this, you'll see the spells and the tips and tricks and stuff and the lore that goes along with these magical items. I really wanted to take the pressure off myself as far as voiceovers go this year because for some reason I tend to kind of like switch my voice for the storytelling aspect, and I just didn't really want to put that pressure on myself again this year. So anyway, I hope you guys liked the first episode of this, and I'm really looking forward to finishing, and I have every intention of finishing no matter how long it takes, and I'm really excited to continue working on this. If you guys have any questions for me, leave them in the comments section. Here are some close-ups of the piece, and thank you so much for watching this first video. Don't forget that there is a giveaway going on, and all you have to do to enter is leave me a comment in the comment section, and there will be 3 winners, and it is open worldwide. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.